GoHuskies.com with men's golf coach, 10th year coach Matt Thurmond. Coach Thurmond, why don't you talk about how your teams look since you returned from Christmas break and started training between then and now?
We had kind of a rough winter when we were off, and so we got some practice in, but not a lot. I was worried that we were going to be really rusty, but we've had great weather the last couple of weeks and have been able to play and practice every day, and the team's actually looking pretty good. We're starting to shoot some good scores in qualifying. We've had some really low ones already, and tomorrow we leave for the Big Island of Hawaii to test ourselves out first. You know, we always start off coming out of winter maybe a little bit sluggish on our skills and our fundamentals, but our minds should be sharp and fired up and ready to go. So I think we'll play well.
Through the early stages of winter camp, who has developed as to be some of the standout players you think in your mind?
Not much has changed. Chris Williams pretty much dominated first couple weeks of the spring season in the qualifying, and Charlie Hughes was right behind him. You know, one big change I think is that Kevin Spooner's is playing really well right now, and he didn't play too well in the fall, but he's really hitting the ball better and is going to play the number 3 man for us in the lineup this week. Other than that, I expect Trevor Simsby to come and play well. He's not going to be playing in Hawaii, but I think he'll have a nice spring. And Cory, another freshman coming off a great fall performance, I think he'll be a real strong player for us this spring as well.
Now, how important was it, or how key, I guess, was the golf training center this winter for you? Didn't have that great of weather. I mean, how nice was it to just be able to walk down on campus for the kids and really train down here?
Well, my golden tee game is pretty sharp right now. You know, Garrett can't hang with me in the golden tee, but he did make a hole-in-one last week, first time ever here in the Husky Golf Center. The guys have used the golf center quite a bit. It's good for they come down, and just today we had a couple guys on TrackMan getting their yardages dialed, so they'll come down and hit their irons, and it'll tell them exactly how far they're going. So even if they're not outside, they can find out exactly how far they're going. Using the V1, the film, it's been good. A couple guys have made some minor swing changes. And then they're in there putting a little bit too.
Let's talk a little bit about your super sophomore, Chris Williams. Had a stellar freshman year. First of all, how can he top that? And second of all, if he's better, how has he gotten better this year?
Yeah, the biggest challenge for him, and what I worry about the most with Chris, is that he tries to do too much. You know, how do you top that? Hopefully, it's not something he's thinking too much. What he did last spring was really remarkable. For 4 months, he was as good as anybody in the country. And so that's a tough act to follow, and especially now that he's lost some seniors that were, he was able to kind of do it in the background last year. But now that those guys are gone, he's looked at as the number 1 man. And so a lot of pressure for him. We're just trying to help him take some of that off and just go play golf. He's playing really well right now. He's worked incredibly hard over the off season. Is focused, dedicated. He's swinging it so well, and his wedge game looks good. And I think the biggest thing for him is we just want to help him become a better putter. He really needs to be a better putter, and we're focusing on his green reading and his speed control, and he's improving. But that's his biggest area of improvement to be had. And I think you'll see us even more mature and smarter Chris Williams this year.
He's not alone amongst the great sophomores that you have. I mean, Charlie Hughes had on a couple of terms, he was fantastic. He was in position to even win one. Talk about his progress and what you expect from him.
I expect big things from Charlie. Has an explosive game. He's still kind of a guy that's learning his game and kind of where he wants to go, but more than ever, he's dedicated to being a great golfer. And that right there, nobody you could ever find could work harder than Charlie Hughes. So if he knows what he wants to do, he will do it. And he's in that mode right now where he's really committed to becoming a great player, and he's working extremely hard. I think he's going to keep hitting it further and further, and he already hits it crazy far. His putting looks a lot better, and he's just competing with a great energy right now. So I'm super excited about Charlie. I think you're going to see some real nice development from him this spring.
Now, familiar name is back in the lineup for the spring. Mr. Shue
fella.
Is back from
the
Hong
big
Kong.
Fella. Yeah, he's known as Fat Boy here. His dad that's what his father calls him, so we call him Fat Boy. Or the Chewy Chunker. But anyway, it's great to have him back. He's in great spirits, and I think we have a much more mature and happy Chew. He's got a lot to prove, I think, this last his last chance, and he's committed to doing it. He brings a great personality, and I think he looks mature and ready to play. He really wants to be a big part of the team and help us win.
Besides Spooner, who would you say is your most improved player, perhaps?
Well, besides Spooner is a big one. He's improved a lot. Ty, I think it looked pretty good in the qualifying recently. He played for all events for us in the fall. I'd love to see him get some more scores in there. I think you'll see a lot of improvement out of Trevor Simsby. I mentioned him already. And Larry Iverson's working extremely hard as well, and I think we'll see some improvement out of him this spring.
Very nice. So Hawaii, any special? You guys always emphasize on having fun on trips. What are you guys doing in Hawaii?
Well, there's so many great things that I probably shouldn't even talk about them here on the World Wide Web because people would think we're having too much fun. But Hawaii is amazing. Nobody does Hawaii like we do. I got a set of boogie boards that goes over with us, and we got some great hikes planned and some golf at some other courses. We'll be out there snorkeling and building sandcastles. We'll mix in a little bit of golf out there too. But it's a really fun trip, one we really look forward to. We get to stay in a couple condos together, and we eat all our meals together, and it's a great time to bond as a team and as a staff. It's going to be a fun week.
Now I assume that Garrett and Scott are both going to travel with you.
Scott won't be there this week. Scott comes to a couple events, but he won't be in Hawaii.
Poor guy.
Yeah, we're tough on him this year.
Okay, that's fair enough. Talk a little bit about Cory a little bit more. He showed some signs of being a really stellar player for you. What do you see in him that you like moving forward in the future?
Cory, he's a golfer. He's just a golfer, and he knows he's a golfer, and he has high expectations for himself. So there wasn't a time of transition really for him from a golf standpoint. He was ready to play right away, and I think he should build confidence off of what he did in the fall. When he plays with the guys, he plays really well, and it's clear to everybody on the team that he's one of our best players. So I think for him it's just a matter of developing more emotional maturity and understanding of his game and controlling the ups and downs a little bit better. His game is really good. He hits it long, and he's got great touch around the greens. He's an excellent lag putter. He has all the skills that he needs. I think his consistency will be determined by his emotional control and ability, which is not atypical for a college freshman. That's pretty normal.
Now, with the loss of so many seniors that made so many contributions to this team, what's the identity of this team, and what kind of drop-off, if you will, do you expect, or is there an expectation to just keep the ball rolling?
Interesting. I think in the back of my mind, I probably expect a little bit of a drop-off, and I think anybody looking at it would. The guys, however, they're intent on there not being a drop-off. We had a great team retreat, and they spent a lot of time together without the staff, kind of defining what they are as a team and what they want to be all about and what they want to be known for, and knowing that every team is different. And this team is, they said, Coach, we are not a rebuilding year. We are not. That's not what we are, and we're going to make sure that everybody knows that Washington Golf is continuing on just like it always has. And so I like to see that. They got a little chip on their shoulder, and they're ready to show that things haven't dropped off, and that they're going to keep playing just as well as the guys before them.
Now, last year the Pac10 proved to be one of the nation's best conference by sending so many teams as number one seeds for the NCAA tournament. What are your expectations for the conference this year?
It's just as good or better as it was last year. I think Stanford and UCLA are as of now, the top of the conference. Those guys are really, really, really good. Oregon is also very, very good. They have everybody back from a team that beat us last year at the Nationals and was a top 5 team. So they haven't played as well in the fall, but I think they'll be really good also. USC's solid. ASU's solid. Cal is kind of, I think maybe for people that aren't following it closely, a surprise team this year, but I think Cal is probably a top 10 team in the country as well. So loaded Pac-10, and I think it'll be really fun. At the same time, we're good enough to beat anybody on a given day, and I look forward to trying to win our 3rd straight Pac-10 championship.
Is it hard for you to believe that you've been here for 10 years now? You're starting to see some of your assistants become head coaches, like John Rehorn at Oregon State. Is it kind of weird to look back at It's been 10 years here already.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's hard for me to even to conceptualize. Yeah, I don't know. Every day is just a new day, and 10 years, I guess, is a while. I can't remember not being here hardly, So, but I look forward to the next 10 years and the 10 years after that too. So, I don't know. No, 10 years is fun. I'm one of the older coaches in the conference. I guess I'd be, as far as tenure at their school, I'd be fourth or fifth right now. So that's kind of strange because I came in as such a youngster and was just a young punk, and now I'm kind of one of the old veterans.
All right, Coach. Thanks for your time, and good luck next week.
Thanks.